This is the Lounge podcast brought to you by Recordon Studio, hosting the Qatar Parenting Network. And it's a pleasure to be joined by Nickii Jean.
Hello.
Hurrah! Therapist and author and co-founder of the Life Skills Hub. Welcome, Nickii. First of all, let's just touch upon the Life Skills Hub to start with.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to create that?
I think that I've been in Qatar for about 8 years, and I've seen some of my clients start to grow into teenagers and young adults. And I think that just being able to grow with them is where Life Skills Hub came into. I know that we needed, to focus on social and vocational skills. And as they were turning into adults, I was inspired to kind of create something for them in that space.
Excellent. Yeah. Look, we're here at the Qatar Parenting Network.
Yeah.
And I just want to pick up on some of these points, really, because this is a workshop. We've heard from lots of wonderful people here. But look, some of these things, empowering families, strengthening communities, shaping the future. This is something that you're going to find inspiring as well, right? Yeah,
for sure. I'm not a parent yet, but I think that, this is the goal. And this is like a safe space to learn about parenting and to, be able to communicate with all the different parents and hear their insights to possibly prepare me for the future. But I do work with a lot of parents as well. So just being able to, sit with them and be a part of this is just amazing. Yeah,
I mean, being part of this network. Is there a moment from your own childhood where you wish your parents may have shown up differently? Of course, all our parents love us.
We're perfect, right?
Yeah. and what impact might that have had on you? Because the parents are doing the best they can. Each generation, you're kind of trying to figure it out as you go. But what about some of those early life experiences?
I think for me, I just think that emotional awareness and like being able to give a child a voice. I'm sure I'm not the only person growing up that said, man, if I were a parent, I would do A, B, and C. And so I think that emotional awareness was really, really important. And as you said, my, mom did the best that she could do. But I think that would have kind of like, balanced out our relationship a little more.
Yeah. Look, we're in each generation as we go face their own individual pressures. I mean, back in the day, it was keep calm and carry on. And today, it's a far different world. And so what are the sort of other pressures that sort of like parents and families and individuals are facing these days that sort of like, networks like this can help?
I mean, I think just like the social impact. I think that, growing up, I didn't have social media. I didn't have a cell phone. That it wasn't a thing. And so there's just kids have a little more access to things that it took so long for me to get access to. And so being able to learn how to navigate those spaces, I think as parents is really, really important, because if you don't empower and pour into your children, then social media will. And that can turn into a good thing or it can turn into a bad thing. So being able to kind of, lead the way instead of letting social media do it.
Sure. Well, let's just pick up on that then from an educator's perspective. What changes do you think schools and educators need to make so that they raise emotionally intelligent children and not academically gifted ones, let's say?
I think really having workshops and really talking about emotions and really talking about mental health. And, I think that schools are doing the best that they can do as well with this mindfulness approach. But I think that it really should be immersed into the curriculum. It shouldn't just be one day. We should be able to consistently talk about this. So, yeah.
Nickii, I heard you earlier. You've been sort of like part of the workshops here. And there's a word that recurred throughout. And this was one of awareness. Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that? Because there was a lot going on those workshops.
I think it's the self-awareness that we were really tapping into in that conversation, is that and we're talking about as parents, right? So they're saying that as a parent, for them to show up and be the best version of themselves for their children, they have to have certain type of awareness. So when their children are asked these same type of questions, that they have done the best that they can by being more aware than what their parents were. So self-awareness is very, very key, whether you're a parent or not. I think being able to, be aware of your emotions, to be able to self-regulate is, not something that comes easy. So being able to practice that and make that a part of, your day-to-day lifestyle will, inshallah, help us all turn into better versions of ourselves on a daily basis.
Excellent. Well, look, keep up the good work with the Life Skills Hub. Thank you for coming along to the Qatar Parenting Network. And thank you for being Nickii Jean. And thank you for being aware.
Thank you so much. And congratulations to Qatar Parent Network. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And just, thank you for just always including me on your journey.
Thank you, Nickii. It's been a pleasure. This is the podcast, the Lounge Podcast with Recordon Studios, hosting the Qatar Parenting Network.